me feel good.
So, hello guys, welcome to stage 41 of the Ecto-1 build. This issue we'll be doing the radio receiver. However, in the last episode, I asked the question, what is a hydromatic quadrant? Now the hydromatic quadrant was put there. I did a quick Google and I found something on Wikipedia. And it said hydromatic, also known as hydramatic, is an automatic transmission developed by both General Motors Cadillac and Oldsmobile's divisions. Introduced in 1939 for the 1940 model year vehicles, the hydromatic was the first mass-produced fully automatic transmission developed for passenger automobile use. Now, if you do a Google search on hydromatic quadrant, it will bring up a rather interesting Wikipedia page. There is an awful lot to read. It goes on about the history, the design. It's quite a lengthy read, and obviously we're here to build the Ecto-1, but I would certainly recommend giving that a read. It is rather interesting. So stage 41. Now we have quite a few parts to get through. They all look small and fiddly, and to be honest with you, it's something that I really enjoy when we do the small builds. We have part A, and you can see also we have lots of screws. So part A, we have the Regency ACT R20/6 radio receiver. So bit of music while you're playing, while you're driving, never goes amiss for me. 41B instrument panel box, and I think it's this piece here. With the pictures, they do them two-dimensional. When you pick up a three-dimensional piece, sometimes it looks a bit different, but I believe that's 41B, and I'm thinking that because you've got 3 holes in the middle, 2 holes on the sides, and this little bit there. So 41C is the instrument panel, and that is absolutely beautiful. Want that to get into focus, please, because look how amazing that is. Now, this is small by our standards, but I would suggest that by a car standard, that's absolutely ginormous. You can see it's about 6.5 centimeters long. The actual panel is about 5.5 centimeters. Now, I'm pretty sure that instrument, once you bring this back up to 1:1 scale, I'm pretty sure that that's probably bigger than the driver's side of my own personal car. That is absolutely ginormous, but obviously it's small for us. But it's, yeah, this big dashboard. At least you've got no excuse for not knowing how fast you're going. Right, so the next stage is button retainers, 41D. Now these come in a bag, and they're just literally flat pieces of plastic with slight bits of detail on them, and there are 5 of those. So 41E is a main light switch cover. So is that for our purposes, or is that for the car detail? I don't know. F is a ignition switch, and that does look a bit ignition. Look, it's even got the little tiny detail in the middle, the little keyhole. Look at that. That is amazing. So lots of effort has been made on this, hasn't it? So 41G dashboard trim, and I quite like this detail Don't know if you can hear that as I run my finger along it. Whoops, didn't mean to throw it on the floor. Right, 41H is the radio. Oh my god, look at that. Wow. It's got readable details, it's amazing. Right, 41I is the display. And okay, I could be critical here, but I'm not going to. Some of that paintwork, now on camera that looks amazing. In close-up, some of the paint has actually missed the actual raised detail. So what you might like to do, if that bothers you, you can always paint over that with a matte black and then get a white, and you can either dry brush that detail back on, or you can sit there with a tiny paintbrush and paint it all on. I think because we're going to be looking through the windows and you can see what it looks like on camera, it looks fine. It's absolutely amazing. It's not until I actually bring it right close up. I don't even know if you'll see it close up. I don't even know if the camera will focus that close. No. You see, there you go. So even on camera you won't see it. So I'm actually picking on the detail that you guys can't see. So I would suggest therefore that it's probably not worth doing. So 41J is a slide switch, and again the details, the paint job is actually better on this one. It's a black piece of plastic with two little blobs of paint on, so that's really nice. And then we have our screws. So we have AP screws times 2 was 2 plus 1 spare. They're 1.7 by 5 mil. EP screws, there are 6 of these. They're 1.7 by 4 mil. IP screws, there's 3 of those. They're 2 by 5 mil. JP screws 2.3 by 5, and there are 3 of those. And then lastly we have KP screws 1.7 by 3 mil, and there's 2 of those. So I'm going to take a quick cut in filming. I'm going to put all my screws away into the pots. If we had 1 or 2 sets of screws, I'd just lay them out, but as you can see there's an awful lot of screws there to get muddled up. So I'll just do a quick cut and then I'll get those into my pots. I'll see you shortly. Okay, so I've got all my screws ready. Now the KP screws are one that I've not actually put into pots before. So I've just opened up a new section. I've just taken the sticker off the bag and placed it on there. So any more I can just pop them straight in. So stage 41, radio receiver. So let's take part 41A. Begin by locating the radio receiver display 41I, which is this one, and using the pins on the rear to push it into place on the top part of the radio receiver 41A. Now it looks like, it's very hard to see on the magazine, but it looks like the longer lines are down and the smaller ones are up, and it also looks like the radio goes this way round, so they will push into place. So you've got 2 pins on the back and you've got 2 holes in there, and that will simply go into place like, I want to say like so, but it's not going. There we go. Do not push this too hard until you know it's actually located in. And you can see the pins at the back, except you can't see the pins at the back because the light. So there we go, guys. So there's 2 pins there. It's hard to see. It's really not focusing on the black too well. So there are flaws to this wonderful autofocus system. Right. So the next stage, next step, take the parts that you've just right. Yeah, then using the same method, push the slide switch 41J into the bottom right. Now it looks like these switches are higher up. I don't know if you can see that they're off center. They want to go, the switches want to go higher up, and they want to go into that piece there. And this is actually quite tricky to see. Again, it's black on black, and there we go. That's actually gone in really nicely. So I just want to get the back of something, cocktail stick, and I just want to push those in. But again, don't push them in until you know the pins are lined up. And as you see, that's a really tiny detail, but it really does make the difference. So next we want to place them on top of the dashboard upper panel. So that's this piece here, and I can see that there's a hole there and two holes there, and we have a locating pin there, and two screw holes. So we're going to place that on the locating pin, and then we'll just move this backwards and forwards until we can see that it's lined up. And it looks like, I'm not sure if this is going to line up. I can see that this hole there is perfectly lined up. This one looks a little bit out. So I'll pop the screw in that one, then we'll see how we get on with that one. And that actually looks like it's set at a slight angle, which I think would be, yes, I would be alright with that. This is not the radio as in a radio, is it? This is like a CB radio, like a, you know, when taxis and police cars, they communicate with base. I think it's that kind of radio. So as you see, it looks slightly angled. And it's angled towards the person that will either be there or there, so they can operate it. So that looks, and you can see the screw holes are angled. So I would say, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'm happy with that. So we've done our dry fit. We want to fix that in place with two JP screws. One we are expecting no problems from. The other one we are I'm expecting a potential problem. So I've got my screw lined up. So I'm placing this in there. I'm lining this screw hole there up. There. And I'm holding down on this quite hard. And then I'm just going to place the screw in just enough so that it bites. And you can see that it's actually not biting that much. And it can fall out. So we'll see how much of a problem this second hole is. Actually, it's no problem at all. So that's gone in. So we can actually now do these screws up just until the resistance increases. There we go. So we check the fit. There's no movement. So I'm very happy with that. Very, very happy. So step 2, fitting the instrument panel. So I'm just going to move that to one side, and we need to get 2 AP screws ready. So I'll place one on the table, one on the screwdriver. Okay, and we need to take the instrument panel 41C, which is this one. I love that. I really do love that. What that is, I'm just gonna tidy this up a bit. You can see that this came off a sprue. And I cannot find my files. I'm currently in the process of building a new desk, and I'm starting to put places for things, and it's all new places, so I can't find anything. So I'm just, it's a little bit of a tab there. It's not a problem, but I just want to remove it. I have found with models in the past, if you don't get this down absolutely smooth, it does show later on. In fact, actually, I'm having a similar problem with the Spitfire build that I do. Some of these parts we cut off the sprue and we just have to adjust and just file them, and I missed a little bit out, and you guys probably wouldn't see it if I didn't point it out, but because I can see it, I know it's there, and it really does annoy me. There we go, so that's better. This bit's not quite happy with. There we go, that's a lot better. Doesn't that look so much nicer? So much better. Right, so we'll pop back the file back into the drawer that I don't know. Managed to find it. So we need to fit that onto instrument panel box B, and that's going to be really simple to do, and this is really good. That goes on there, then it's going to go, take the two parts and use two AP screws, and we need to screw that into there. So that's what we're going to, no, that can't be right, can it? That is right. So I find that odd that we have a box there that we aren't going to see, unless it's to prevent light bleed or something. But yeah, that's going to go on there. Don't screw these two pieces together, you screw these two through there into the back of the dash. So let's have a go. So you may find this easier to hold these together. Pop the screw through from behind, and then holding that, we then find the hole. Whoops. Because I noticed it's quite difficult to line that screw up because it's hard to see through. So I'm just going to screw that in. Doesn't matter what angle this is, but I'm just going to try and screw that through just until it bites. So although you see I'm at a funny angle, that dashboard is clearly not on properly. In fact, nothing's on properly. I'm really struggling here. Right. What I mean about the fiddly parts. So let's try it from a different angle. So we've got that roughly lined up. Once we can just get this in a couple of turns, there it goes. So I've not screwed it in full, and as you can see this is still moving around, but now this gives us the opportunity, we can just relax it a little bit. That screw hole should be a lot easier to get in because the part's not moving around so much. There we go. So that's in. So I'm going to screw that in. Because it's plastic, I'm only going to screw until the resistance increases. There's no movement. Oh, look what I've gone and done. So check your work, guys. The next thing we want to do is stage 3, fitting the radio. Push the radio 41 in H into place. And this is the radio. Make sure it's the correct way round. Push it into place in the dashboard trim and fix from behind with 2 EP screws. So we know we're going to need 2 EP screws. So we get those ready. we'll load one up. And then we place, whoops, so making sure the radio is still the correct way round, we put that into play. Oh, look at that, just goes straight in, as it should really, but, and then we'll fit one EP screw into there. Now they look like awfully long screws for the job. It's also an awfully large screwdriver head for the job. I seem to be struggling with these screwdriver heads today. Yeah, because that's too small. So I think I actually have the wrong heads. Yeah, right, sorry guys, bear with me a sec. So my apologies for that. I've actually lost my favourite screwdriver head. I was doing some work the other day, and that is the head that I need, so I'm actually going to resort to a different screwdriver. So look after your kit, guys. I know that it's somewhere around here, but I was doing some wood cutting and I was having to move parts around to just stop them from getting damaged, and when you're cutting wood, obviously it creates an awful lot of sawdust, and so I tried to move all my small parts away because I knew I would be vacuuming up the sawdust. However, that's gone in absolutely fine now, so that's the radio gone in. So that's stage 3. Stage 4 is mounting the dashboard trim. So we need to place the dashboard trim with radio attached into the matching recess into the dashboard upper panel, and that's going to go into there. So we have 2 longer screw threads there. You see we've got some small ones there, and they're going to line up there. So ignore everything that you see, line up these 2 there, and that's going to go into there, and that is, for me, instant wow. That is absolutely amazing. So we need to secure that with IP screws. So that one's in just enough to bite and hold it in place, and then this one is going in just enough to bite. We can check the position, the fit seems lovely, so we can continue to screw these up. And again, it's plastic, so I'm only going to do these until the resistance changes, and I can't pull that out, there's no wibble, so I'm really happy with that. Okay, so the next step, and there's rather a lot of text and lots of pictures for one stage. Begin by pushing the main light switch cover 41E, which is this one, into the round slot to the left of the dashboard upper panel, and it actually looks like we're doing it from the back, which would explain now why these are so large, because look, they do look rather large for a radio that size. So that's, having said that, it's going in there. Right, so have I missed a stage out? Because the pictures, right, no, okay, that's fine. I haven't. What happened was I was looking at the pictures as I was reading, and I could see there was a wire coming out of here. But there is, sorry, there's a wire, yeah, there's a wire coming out of here. But that's not relevant yet at the moment. So 41E is going to pop into, oh, there. Right, that will pop into there. This is actually slightly confusing. So what we're going to get is this effect. And now, can you guys see my concern? This looks like it's going to be a push switch, but it's so close to this. So anyway, so the light switch goes into there, and then push the switch at the end of the main light switch 38E into the switch cover 41E. So light switch cover, light switch E is F, isn't it? So that's going to be going right. I'm going to need a cut, guys. I need to look back at the previous stage 38. I need to know which one is which. I thought they would say labelled whatever. That's why I didn't make so if you remember these switches from 38, I'm pretty sure it said like part 38C is labelled D and part E is so, and I thought they would be putting labelled such and such. So I just need to do a little bit of research, go back to stage 38 and find out which one is which. So I will see you shortly. Okay, so my apologies, guys. I've checked the instructions. This is one of those moments you want to read the instructions 2 or 3 times. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to place this switch 41E light switch cover. That's going to go into there like so. Make sure it's sticking out from the other side. And then we're going to place this grey switch. It's labelled F. It came with issue 38. I can't get the focus on that. So that's labelled F. And this is 38E. Now this wants to go in like so. So the actual pointy bit goes into the light switch that we did before. What we need next are these retainers. They're calling them retainers. This is from this stage, and they look like boards, tabs, and you see you've got a locating tab and a hole, and what you need to do is place one into that bottom hole and then screw in the top bit with an EP screw, and this is where it's going to get slightly fiddly, so I'm going to recommend that you get your screw ready on your screwdriver, because all of this is going to move independently as you try to do it, and you know what's going to happen. Everything will move into the way rather than out of the way, because that's how life deals the cards. So sometimes you have to resort to out and out dirty tricks, and so I have here a helping hands. So I have the dashboard held with 2 clips. I have the wire which is held down by 1 clip, because this bit keeps moving, and that's what's causing me a problem. And I've pulled the wire out of the way, and it's the knocking of the wire that's causing me a problem. So we'll see how this works. If I can now get round and get that into there, I'm Still struggling. It is still a struggle, but now because that wire is out of the way, oh, right, I will get there, guys. I don't know how many hours this video is going to last, but if you haven't done already, pull up a cup of tea and a biscuit, because I would imagine for you this is rather amusing and entertaining. For me, not quite so much. No, I am enjoying this. I do love these kind of builds. I think that is in. Oh! So, that switch is loose, but it's not falling out. But at least it's in place, which is the main thing. So I'm going to try and... Right. But that switch works. Let me bring it up to the microphone. So you can see that that is working absolutely fine. So... and now this has fallen out. So I did say in an earlier episode, this isn't going to fall out easily. That's my only worry there now, is that to get to that switch, you're going to have to, and that, I don't think that's designed to activate that switch. But no, that's fine. I'm okay with that now. So I may glue this in. Because it did fall out quite easily, but once you've pushed it in, it doesn't. I think I maybe just knocked it a few times while I'm fitting this switch. Right, so whew, step 6. Guess what we're doing next? We are going to be fitting lots more wires from the inside. So my little helping hand tool there, or as someone I know calls it, octopus. Or even though it's only got six arms. So we are now going to fit, and there's no... Right, insert the ignition cover F. So that's going into that hole there. And that might be directional, because there's a little knot. There it is. It is directional. Right, so you can see there's a little notch there where I can fit my tweezers in. That needs to go up, and that needs to line up. There's a little notch there, so that's going in that way round. That's now in. Okay, and then that needs to be, that needs to have 38C, which is the blue and green wire. That needs to go into there like so. Does it go that way? I think it goes that way, and that will be secured with an EP screw. So I am taking no chances, guys. It worked last time, so I will use it again. On the switch I've just lost. There we go. So I'm just going to bend that wire back a little bit. We'll just use that crocodile clip just to hold that out of the way, like so. One of these and an EP screw. So hopefully this should take less than half the time that the last one took. Like I say, use absolutely anything at your disposal. Cocktail sticks, tweezers, shoe boxes, Your neighbour's cat. Right, so that's gone in. Now I'm not going to show you because it's all connected up, but yep, I can see that switch is working fine. So the next one then is, we're pretty much following the same pattern there and there. So the next one, and they have actually, this is quite nice now, they've now started to include the colours of the wires as well as the labels, which makes it so much easier. So the last one that we put in, we can see that it's a green and blue one, and that's a 38C, and if you look back at your magazine you'll see that it is D. Whatever the label is, the part number is one lower, so 38B will be labelled C. This is part C, so it's labelled D. This one's labelled part E, so it's labelled F. So the next one that we need is 38D, so it should be a green one labelled E. So there's the label, and there it is, green. This one should be simpler to do because it's not going into any switches or anything, but that is, you know me, that's famous, that can come off now, can't it? So we'll just hook that under there, and actually this, I don't need to grab it, I just need to tuck that wire out of the way. So we'll get another one of these little tabs, and using our tweezers and our cocktail stick, and I think this is the easiest way to do it, we place the cocktail stick into the screw hole, make sure the locating tab is in, and then holding that down we can pull the cocktail stick out. That screw hole is now ready for us, lined up, and then we get our cocktail stick and we hold down the tab, leaving the screw hole free, and we can just pop that screw in. Once we've got that screw to bite, we can let go. So this is one of the things I love about these challenging builds. Sorry, my hand is in the way. You come across a problem, you deal with it, you learn to deal with it. Sometimes you learn very quickly. In this particular case, not so quickly, and then you apply that to the next stages. So we've got another wire to do, which is 38B, which is a blue wire, and that's labelled C, as I can see. So pop that into there like that. All of these switches, you see that these switches have got four legs, and they have the wire on two legs. They always seem to go bare legs to the left, bare legs to the left, covered wires, covered legs to the right. So I'll use that arm just to pull that out of the way, and cocktail stick and tab into tweezers, cocktail stick in hand, place that in like that, hold it, pull it out. Oh, this has just become so much easier now that I've figured it out. So how many hours has this video been so far? So this is the trouble though, isn't it? I mean, sometimes the videos take a long time, you know, the build. Sometimes the build is really quick. This is why I do enjoy getting things in packs, because if you get an issue that's very quick and then you get an issue that takes absolutely ages, within the pack they're probably all about the same length of time. Okay, so that wire is in. That leaves us just one more wire, and I have two more wires in left, but this is 38A, so as predicted this is labelled B. Now this is going in a slightly different way the tab's coming in from the side, and I can see that that tab has come from the part that that we've installed. So I'm going to do this wire up and bare legs down. I'm going to tuck that wire out of the way, but I think we can apply the same logic to this. We can excuse me, we can hold the tab over, place the cocktail stick into the screw hole, then use the tweezers to make sure it's positioned correctly. Then I may have to come in from an odd angle, but no, I won't. I'll hold that down with the cocktail stick, pop the screw in there, and I think that's going in. Yeah, that's going in absolutely fine. Now the silver part that we've screwed it into, it's coated something, so it could actually be an acrylic part. So as you all know, if we screw too hard into an acrylic part, we're going to crack it. So be very careful here, be very wary. I think it is just normal plastic. Right, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So according to the picture of the build, there should be 6 wires poking out. 1 2 3 4 5 wires. So we actually have one missing. Right, one, that one is there, that one is present, okay, yeah, what they've done is they've done the instructions. You're supposed to read them this way, I've read them this way. So the last piece that we need to put in is 38G. Finally push the 3 bulbs of the dashboard light 38G into the holes in the rear of the instrument panel 41B, which is this one there, so that the wire at the end of the dashboard trails off to the left. Now it says push, it doesn't say anything about screwing, but what we do know is the wire wants to go off in that direction. So I'm going to push that into there. Now I'm going to be gentle because we are dealing with bulbs, and I'm a little bit wary here. Do you know what? I did say, why have we got this box when we could have just screwed that? That is the obvious answer, isn't it? So I need to place this down on a safe surface, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to push each bulb very gently, just a tiny bit, until they're all in place. And there we go, that's in place. That's not in place. That is in place. So right, so that's that done. We've got 6 wires now poking out. 1 2 3 4 5 6. The picture shows that there's 6 wires, so I'm happy that that's complete. And whew, what a tough build. So it's just finding your technique, really. But what a beautiful piece that's just made. Absolutely happy with that. So we have a switch there, we have a switch there that's quite hard, it's quite flush, but that's okay. We've got a little black switch there, which that obviously isn't there in real life. We need to put the switch somewhere, but that's a really nice inconspicuous place. And then you've got 2 switches there that look like they're part of the radio. So that's quite clever. So that's really good placement. I'm really happy with that. And then obviously we've got the dashboard lights. So yeah, a lot of thought gone into that. If we have to put a button in, let's try and hide it, but at the same time you want it easy to get hold of. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I cannot complain about that at all. So we have one more stage left of this pack, and that's stage 42. So I'm going to take a well-deserved break, and I will see you hopefully in the next issue. So thank you for watching. Take care, guys. Bye bye.